Welcome to Everything House Music and More, and my special guest today is a good friend of mine, Mr. Ron, a.k.a. Peaches Carroll.
You were not supposed to tell him that, Mo. That was supposed to be
no,
that was
How you doing today, Ron?
I'm good, bro. I'm really good.
I really appreciate this, brother. And, we just going to get into it. You ready?
I'm ready, bro. Let's go.
Let's go. So, Ron Carroll.
Scout, it's early.
That's early, huh? How and when did you discover house music culture?
I would say this. House music culture was discovered through my high school years.
And what high school did you go to?
I went to South Shore.
Okay.
And so, believe it or not, I was into rock music.
Oh.
When I first started, I was into Kiss, Iron Maiden, Metallica, you name it, Alice Cooper, all of that. So when we had back in the day, we shared a room with our brothers or our sisters, right? We had one room.
Right.
So on my side of the room, I had posters of Alice Cooper, all that. So my brother used to be scared, like, man, your side of the room look crazy, you know.
Right.
So I was into that at first. And then I remember my dad was walking in the house one day after work, and I got on Kiss, and I'm straight air guitar. Oh, I'm going crazy.
Right.
He walks in the door. He looking at me like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
So he tore the record up, took all the posters off the wall,
Right.
and said, you will not be listening to this music in my crib.
Oh, wow.
And so I was devastated, like, Dad, I'm a rebel. I'm rock and roll, like that. And so after that, then I started to hear the sounds of house music.
Now, where was that from when you heard the sounds of house music?
Okay, so basically, with my beginnings, you would hear of it. You would hear it on cassette tapes and things like that.
Okay.
And so I started to go to imports, et cetera, and things like that to get tapes from different DJs. And I started listening to it. And me and my brother going to the record store because we put together a DJ team.
Okay. And what year was this, Ron?
Oh, my goodness. This was in, 1982, 83?
Okay.
And so we were going to the record store, getting the records, looking through things, and getting addicted to it, basically. And I remember we had a crew called the Disco Jack Masters.
Disco Jack Masters.
So it was me, my brother Nate, and his friend Brian.
Okay.
So together we was the crew. Now, of course, I'm the most the shyest out the group.
Okay.
So Nate and his friend Brian had all the women.
Right.
So basically, I'm with them on the side. They getting all the girls hollering, and I'm still in the corner looking crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But eventually, I began to fall in love with the sound because I believe the sound is what really shaped and molded.
Right. And what records were hot during this time? Can you give me a couple?
Oh man, I would say this: Jesse Saunders records. I think it was a song called "Real Love."
Okay. Right.
Yeah, "Real Love" was out at the time, but I always loved Jesse's dubs.
Okay.
Not the full songs, but when he did the little beats.
Right. Without all the vocals.
Without all the vocals. That's what I was really into because it was just a groove. And Chippy, of course, his songs came out as well. And then you have Vince Lawrence with the Virgo. Right. The Virgo tracks and all those types.
So were you wasn't DJing full time at this time?
No, not full time. We were doing we would convince people because we weren't even that good.
Okay.
We would convince people, through their popularity. Hey, yo, let's do the gym room party, things like that.
Okay. So were people using the term house and house music at that time?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
What were they saying at the time?
Actually, at the time, because it was about the dance, actually. So either you were a jacker, or you weren't.
Okay.
So I think jack was the first thing I used to hear.
Okay.
It wasn't house. The house came later.
Right.
But I think the word jack, man, you be jacking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's jacking? And then it became a dance thing.
So for the record, can you tell us how you remember house getting its name then?
To be honest with you, I think everybody have their own individual situation with that. Because,
perspective, right.
Yeah, I don't think it was just all of a sudden, boom. Now, they had a moment.
Okay.
I think when Jesse was on TV.
Okay.
Remember when he had the record?
Right.
And I think it was the news that was at his house.
Yeah.
And they called it house music on the news.
Okay. I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, he was at his crib, and he was like, I'm pressing the first vinyl on Jesse.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. But the term house, I think everybody got introduced to it individually in their own way. And that's the thing about house. It's organic.
Right.
It wasn't this public announcement. It was like,
Right.
what is this?
Right.
Where's it from? Who did it? It was that type of situation that made house individual.
Okay, so since we're there, who do you think made the first house record? Was it Jesse? Was it Chip E? Was it Steve Hurley? I mean, so
This is a debate that we go through in our whole history of life.
yeah, and I'm just saying this because I asked everybody on the show about it
Yeah.
because I want to get their perspective of it.
I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
I think during the time of the 80s, going into the 90s or whatever,
Right.
everyone had a beat machine.
Okay.
Even in Europe, they had a beat machine.
Right.
I think what people miss is this. It's not the music. It's a culture. Like
Right.
hip hop is a way of life,
Yeah,
right?
we had a house culture here.
Absolutely. See,
Right.
people don't know that. They just think it's a music.
Right.
Everybody say house music. No, house culture, bro.
Right.
We actually lived and breathed it. We dressed according to it.
Exactly.
Gerbos and things
Right.
like that.
That's
so
why I made a record and named it House Culture. You was featuring.
that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. I was doing a little scat thing. I remember that.
Right.
So that's what I mean. Like, there's no such thing to me as the first house record.
Okay.
Because house was a culture before music, I believe, before the tracks were being titled.
Well, yeah, but you still have that record that ties in the whole genre. It's just like hip hop. So,
What ties in nationally or internationally?
well, I'm just locally at first because it wasn't nationally. House
Okay.
music wasn't nationally at all at first.
Okay, so for me, if you want to use the term house and how it was introduced, was Chip E.
Okay.
Because it said it's house,
Okay.
it's house.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Chip don't. Chip, like I told you,
Right.
he hit the table.
So when did you fully start becoming DJing on the regular?
Well, I would say it was in the mid 80s when I started to go really, really hard at it. And only thing that made me go hard at it was a guy in our school. Because everything at the time, to explain to viewers, everything was locally, right? We weren't like going everywhere.
Right.
Everything was in your area. So in my area, there was a guy that was like the coldest DJ. And out of my brother and out of Brian, he called me out.
And what was his name?
Andre something.
Okay.
I forgot, but he called me out, bro.
Okay.
Me. I'm like, why me? Like,
Right.
my brother and them famous.
Right.
But he called me out. He said, we in the hallway, everything. And let me explain, everything happened in the hallways of the high school or the school, okay? The call outs, wasn't no phones and all of that. It was a call out. So everybody's in the hallway going in between class. The dude confronts me. Saturday night, my house in the basement, because we threw parties in the basement.
Right.
My house in the basement, you and me battle.
Ooh.
I'm looking around like, me?
Right. Right.
I'm like, cool.
Okay.
I got pumped up, Mo. I said, cool. I'm coming because, you in front of everybody.
Right. Right.
So everybody's like, ooh, we all gonna be there. So we get there. And then, we had the belt drives, guys.
Right.
We didn't have the 12.
Yeah. SL1s.
SL1.
Yeah.
And so we get down there, it's packed. Packed. He on there doing everything. He's scratching,
Right.
going crazy. Dude, I promise you, Mo, when I was putting the needle on there, it was my turn.
Right.
Like-
Right.
My hand was like this. I'm like, oh no.
Right. Right. Right.
But it was that moment of me failing.
Okay.
That's an important word. It was that moment of me failing that made me say, you know what? I'm going to go hard.
Right.
I'm going to go all the way with this. And I'm going to see where it takes me. Because that moment defined me. I was like, whoa.
Right.
I failed in front of everybody. And they laughed. And it was great, though. I look at it as great now.
Well, you can look at it as great now.
Right.
because
But then
back
it was
you were-
humiliating,
yeah, Exactly.
And everybody in school, oh, you whack, you whack, you whack.
Right.
So that made me say, you know what? Okay. I got y'all.
You gonna practice your skills.
Oh, yeah, it's over. I got y'all.
So at that time, what records did you go back and learn with and practice the most with?
Basically, it was all the tracky stuff. Definitely the on and on tracks from Jesse.
Right. Right.
We did that. Of course, the Virgo. There was stuff from Detroit as well. Was it on Metroplex?
Right.
This was stuff from Metroplex as well. So I was very into the beats.
Okay. So what was the promoter climbing like during this time?
It was very, neighborhood. Like I had my own club back then when things progressed. We had our own venue. I would say this.
So this was in the city still.
It's in the city
Okay.
still.
Where, give me location. Where at?
Okay, so everything was neighborhood. My neighborhood was called the South Shore neighborhood, which consists of Jeffrey Boulevard, Euclid, Bennett, Ridgeland.
Right.
So all the way from, I would say, Jeffrey to Stony Island,
Yeah.
between 75th and 67th, that square area was our area, right?
And what was the name of the venue where you were spending at this time?
Well, actually, it wasn't. I created one. Everything was basements back then.
Okay.
So as I progressed, I said, I want to open my own spot. So it was a dude that went to my school, and his family didn't have much money. They were kind of poor. And he was like, man, we got to get money. And we all broke back then.
Right.
Except Maurice, let's make sure.
Live.
But we all didn't have no money, man. So we all were trying to figure out how to do things. So he had a basement. His house was hardly no furniture. He had a basement.
Right.
We went downstairs, said, let's turn this into something.
Okay.
I said, okay. My brother Nate was in woodshop.
Okay.
I said, look, Nate, I need you in woodshop with your friends to build subwoofers.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they're in woodshop building double scoops. It was a 2 18s with the scoop.
Wow.
So they in woodshop building the double scoops. We get the horns. We get everything. We wheeling it down from Euclid all the way down 4 blocks on the dolly. Yeah, we with no cars. We did everything
So
by
you
hand.
still in high school at this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did it. I had a guy that was a graffiti artist. I said, man, you want to be cold? He said, yes, paint on the wall. He said, well, what we going to call it? I was like, thinking. The Banging Enterprise.
Banging Enterprise.
The Banging Enterprise. We're going to call it that because we in here banging, right?
Now, what year is this now?
Oh, wow. This has to be 88.
Okay.
Yeah, we went from, listen, we had a stand. We went from 88 to 90.
Oh, wow.
2 years.
So it was just you, your brother?
Well, it's actually, my brother was in woodshop.
Okay.
He was more so on the girls and doing his thing, but he did it for me.
Right.
So what happened, believe it or not, guys, I started playing there. Lil Lewis played there. Ferris Thomas played there. Mike Williams played there. It got so popular that people brought their reel-to-reels down and banged it out. It became that.
In the basement.
In the basement, bro.
Enterprises.
Yes, sir.
You sure about that? So I'm not gonna get anybody saying that, hey man, that's not true.
No, that is very true, bro.
Wow.
And we had a room where we had beads.
Right.
And that was a smoke room.
Oh wow.
Because my guy, he smoked. He said, well, where are we going to smoke weed at? I'm like, well, dude, I don't smoke. I'm like, cover the wall.
So whose house was this?
My friend's house.
So he'll let you smoke and everything in there?
Man, his parents was cool because they were getting money.
Wow.
Everybody was poor.
Right.
And so it was about $5 to get in.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool.
Right. So how do you feel the DJ culture shifted in Chicago from the early 80s to like 84, 85 and on?
Well, I would say this. It's become more lazy, in my opinion. We had to put a lot of not only brain power, but also physical in what we did in order to create something, Right. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, things are made to be easier, i.e. the cell phone, things like that, i.e. the cell phones. But, I mean, let's be real. If you still had that effort from back then in you, you could conquer everything that comes out. And that's what we learned.
Yeah.
We learned that whatever obstacle, find a way.
So you started DJ. What was the first record you purchased while you're still in high school that you remember, that you went to the store and bought, like, I'm going to buy this once I make some money and this is my first record purchase?
Put this, man. My brother and I went to Loop Records.
Okay.
And there was because we kept hearing, the Chip E EP.
Right. Jack tracks.
Yeah, like crazy. All of a sudden they had copies.
Okay.
We went downtown on a bus, got there, it was right there. The guy told us at the time, I think it was $11.99 or something like that. We didn't have no money.
Right.
I said, bro, what you got? He said, well, I got some change. So we go in our pockets, purse and everything. Do you know?
Purse.
Purchase. Please. And listen, this guy going to do this whole interview.
All right, go ahead, man.
Purchase.
Okay.
So we went in our pockets, And here's the part that was funny. After we bought it, we was like, yes.
Right.
We broke.
Mm-hmm.
We had no transfer. So that record, we took the record to the bus stop. The bus driver pulled up, opened the door. We were like, yo, listen, guys, we're DJs. We just bought this record. We love this record.
Right.
Man, can we just get on the bus? I mean, we run out of money. He said, well, home is that way.
Right.
And so he closed the door. We had to walk all the way home.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you was happy because you had that record.
Overjoyed. Kept looking at it, talking about brother, walking all the way up the lake.
See, that's good. That's great memories right there. So what Chicago DJs was most influenced you at the time? And can you talk about what made each of them hot?
There were different influences, not just one. I would say when you looked at the street level, there was a guy, I don't know if anybody remembers him. His name was David Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him coming to my school DJing. And when I watched him, and that's what made me really, because it was early on, what made me really want to get into it, because watching him do the records and,
Right.
you know, he was a shy guy. He had the bottle pop glasses, but he had girls around him.
Right.
That's what made me be like, I want to do that. Okay. So David Harrison,
okay.
As we progressed on the radio, you know, of course, everybody says Farley Jackmaster Funk.
Right.
But for me, it was Mickey Mix and Oliver.
Okay.
For some reason, I liked his style.
Right.
It gave me a bit of Latin vibes along with the regular house. I liked the way he transitioned and blended. Just something about Mickey Mix and Oliver that did it for me.
Oh, wow. So how was the Hot Mix Files influence on you as coming up?
It was huge, man. I mean, anytime that you're waiting for the weekend to listen,
exactly,
it's amazing. Yeah. Like everybody was waiting, and then you had your recorder on your boombox ready so that when they play that track that you can't get, you're recording it. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's how we were able to play certain things, because we played with cassette tapes.
Okay, so let's go further down the years to late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
You come in as known as a producer, songwriter at this time. Mm-hmm. Talk about that, how you get from the switch and, you know, transitioning from DJing into...
Well, I will say this. I came through a boot camp of great people. Okay. Of course, you were involved in that. Maurice Joshua, say the name. Was very involved with that, as well as Byron Stingley. And Byron Stingley was really there for the writing. Mm-hmm. You know, he taught me how to write the melodies, backing vocals, different things. Like, he taught me the basis of that. Right. When it came to actually utilizing it, man, I gotta say, not because it's his show, I just gotta say it, but Maurice, you were definitely, I mean, with production, you let me sit there with you by the board, watch how you did things, how you recorded people in studio over there on McKenzie. Right. You actually took me out, even Byron and Mike Dunn. Yeah. Sorry, let me say the names. Mike Dunn took me out to Italy with them for a conference. And you took me, I remember we was going to New York, and I'll never forget this. And you was like, we going to the studio. I'm like, well, who? You wouldn't tell me. Right. I'm like, who we going here for? So we pull up to the spot. It was right on the corner. I never forget the studio. It was right on the corner. And this limo pulled up. Right. I'm like, who in the limo? Out pops Destiny's Child. And I'm up here like, that's the, you're like, yeah. So
well, I just say this, Ron. I mean, I have to give flowers, you know, right now where I do. I always saw the potential in there. I love the way you spun.
Thank you.
You know, because that's why I had you everywhere I go. Mm-hmm. From the Spy Bar to even doing my Grammy-nominated party. For real. With you and Mike Dunn. I mean, because I love the way you spin because it was different.
Thank you.
I don't see you setting your ways of like, oh, I got to play like this. I got to play like that.
No, never.
And you play a lot of new music, which I love. And that's why I always, you know, as you one of my top DJs, favorite DJs, man.
Thank you, bro.
And then on the vocals and songwriting tip, I think you definitely had some. I mean, because from everybody you talked about, you have relationship with Clubhouse Records.
Yes.
With Hula.
Yes.
And
thank you, Hula.
Let me know about that.
Thank you.
Talk about that.
Yo, how can I even say, man? Like, Big Ed. Big Ed Matthews. Big Ed Matthews. He goes by Harold Matthews Jr.
Right.
him, dude, he was the guy, honestly. Him and Ron Trent were the ones who convinced me to sing on house music. Because I was in the church
Right.
after rock.
Right.
Go figure, right?
Right.
I'm in the church.
House of God.
House of God. In the church, heavy this time. They're like, Ron, you got to sing on house. I'm like, oh, my dad will kill me.
Because you're a PK kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, my dad will kill me.
Right.
No. And so Ed and Ron was like, come on, man, we got the record right here. You could talk about God on it.
Right.
I'm like, I never thought about that.
Right. Right.
So I would say between Ed, Ron Trent, myself, we actually came with the first gospel house record because it was in 1993.
And what was the name?
My Prayer.
My Prayer.
Nobody was talking about God
Right.
on a record then.
House music.
House
Right.
music,
Right.
sorry. But we did that first record.
Nice.
And so I thank Ed, that's my brother. Hula, Fingers, wow. The label Clubhouse was one of those labels where you actually wanted to be a part of that family.
Yeah.
I mean, Curtis A. Jones, which is Cashmere,
Right.
Green Velvet.
Right. There's a lot of people. Paul Johnson.
Paul
everybody
Johnson,
can do that.
Dana Stovall,
Right. Liddell Towns.
Liddell Towns, right. And I mean, that was a crew of people that you definitely want to be around.
Now, at this time, you develop your songwriting skills.
Yes.
And you said that you give Byron for giving you credit on that and everything.
For sure.
So, what has been your biggest songs so far?
Okay, so biggest
as in a writer.
Oh wow.
And producing.
Oh wow. So writing, I think has been I don't know if it was big for Byron, but we worked on this album, The Purist, together.
Mm-hmm.
And I song I wrote with you.
Mm-hmm.
I did some writing with you with Kim English.
Yeah.
I don't know how big those records went.
Huge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. But I know for me, song wise, Lucky Star with Superfunk was the biggest ever.
Biggest ever, yeah. Now tell us about how did that transpire? So people that don't know, Ron, about that was a big record for you. I mean, just massive globally, not just here in the States,
right,
but internationally.
Well, back then, let me explain Chicago. So Chicago had a lot of crews, and the crews were a part of labels, and the label was a crew, and everybody had offices, very professional offices, studios within the buildings. So there was a label called Underground Construction. That's how it started.
Right.
With Andy Adams, is my, rest in peace. Him and Paul and different guys. So.
And that's Paul.
Oh no.
I'm just trying to say the
Paul.
name.
Yeah, it's not a DJ Paul.
Okay.
But then they had the sisters. I'm gonna get back to their names, but so they wanted to start a more underground division because they did Hard House.
Right.
So they started After Hours.
Okay.
Mozzie, Audio Soul Project, Rick Garcia, Josh Collins, Lady D, everybody was a part of this game. So I came in, they accepted me. So we were with After Hours Records, and I remember we were doing songs. I had my own studio. I was working with Spiro Pagos at the time.
Okay.
And I remember we at the time, Mozzie was friends with Superfunk.
Okay.
Like they were friends.
And Superfunk is out in
They're from France.
Okay.
They're actually from the south of France, Marseille.
Okay.
And so they sent Mozzie a track.
Right.
Like, yo, you know anybody that can write on this and do a scratch vocal?
Right.
Okay. So Mozzie was like, yo, my friend's got a track. I'm like, all right. I'm in my room. Let me send it to you. Okay, cool. Send it to me. I'm like, all right. Who's it for? Barry White.
Oh.
Oh. All right. Cool. Give me a few.
Okay.
Back then I was fast. Maurice could tell you we would write songs very, very fast. So I'm like, okay, record it. Every night you look up in the sky, babe, that's a lie. Because I'm thinking about his tone.
Right.
All of a sudden I send it back. He sends it to them. Then about 2 weeks later, because everything was slower then,
Right.
2 weeks later, they were like, Ron, they like it. I'm like, good. Okay, good.
Right.
Well, let's work out something,
Yeah.
No, but here's the catch. What's the catch? They want you to be on it.
Oh wow.
I'm like, me? You said it was for Barry White, dude.
Right.
No, put I'm like, and I'm thinking publishing.
Yeah.
Put B. White on it. That's publishing.
Yeah.
So he went back. Ron said, put B. White on it. No. We want him. And we want that exact vocal.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's a scratch vocal. I know.
Right.
No, we want that vocal. And I got to the point, I'm like, Mozzie, whatever, man. Just send the record off.
Right.
Now, in the music game, you have slopes, right? So you're doing good, you dip. You're doing okay, you dip. Now, when I was at After Hours, I was married, broke as hell. Can I say hell?
Yes, you can.
Broke as hell. I'm talking about broke. To the point my wife was eating crackers at work. We were broke. So at the point I was like, I don't care, man. Just whatever they want to do. Because my mind was very on her, not having nothing.
Right.
So he comes back, he says, okay, well, Ron, the record's finished. All right.
Right.
Great, good for them.
Right.
Like, I really didn't care.
Right.
I had told my wife, matter of fact, a week before then, I said, I'm stopping this.
Okay.
I'm getting a regular job. I'm done.
Right.
Right? Because she's been with me the whole time.
Yeah.
She says, okay, whatever they want to do. I went out looking for jobs, everything. All of a sudden, it was like, Ron, they're going to fly in town. All right. Okay.
Right.
Well, let me know when they get here. So they flew in town.
So you didn't know what was going on, Steve?
No.
Okay.
And I didn't care at the time.
Right.
Because my wife was hurting. We going through a lot. All of a sudden, they get here. Okay, Ron, they want to meet you. We're going to go to the hotel and meet with them in the lobby. Blah. I said, okay, whatever. We get there. I meet them. Hello, nice to meet you.
Right.
From France. Hey, what up? Very nonchalant. They sit down. We love the record, so we want to keep your voice. I'm like, yeah, I heard that.
Right.
Okay, so here's the plan. We want to do a video in the next 3 days. I'm like, okay. I said, I don't have no clothes.
Right.
Oh, we'll buy them for you. I'm like, okay.
Right.
Still okay.
Yeah.
Shot the video.
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
Right.
On the northwest side.
Okay.
On California.
Okay.
Shot it. It was over. Okay, is it over? Yeah, all right. Like that. Very like that.
Now, at this time, have you discussed anything about your writers publishing or anything like that?
Now, see, we're going to get to the good part.
Okay, go ahead.
Because, no, I didn't care, remember?
Right.
I just did it.
You just wanted to, you didn't care about it no more.
No, here.
Okay.
So then, a couple of weeks went by, had a little job. I told them I'm not coming to the studio. I said, no, come to my house, all right? Went, hey, man, the record might be big. They might do something. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Right.
Then they hit me themselves. Ron, we want to fly you to Paris.
Ooh.
I'm like, for what? For what, bro? To promote. To promote. I got to make money, bro.
Right.
What are you talking about? No, we make sure you're okay. I talked to my wife. Want me to do it? She said, yeah, go do it.
Yeah.
So, at the time, they mail you tickets. See, it wasn't all this quick stuff.
Yeah.
I got tickets in the mail. Open the ticket up. It said first class.
Whoa.
So then I'm like,
Something's going on.
yeah,
Yeah.
first class?
Right.
I'm like, no way. So I was so stupid, bro. That day, I was trying to pack frantically.
Right.
I missed the first flight.
Oh my goodness.
So I missed the first flight. I had to get on the second, which was just business.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
and I got on a bit, never sat in that either. So I
Right.
sat in the business, flew there.
That's the best way to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I landed. I was like, okay, well, let me walk through the terminal.
Right.
Somebody was standing right there with the
With the
Mr.
sign
Carroll.
with your name.
I said, what's going on?
Right.
I'm thinking I got to take a train.
Yeah.
Get there. We walk outside. It's a Mercedes.
So
The
did
big
it hit you then?
Nope.
It didn't hit you then, yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm just like, they really, for me, because, I've been in the
They just
game a
trying-
long
they-
time.
They trying to
I'm
suit
like,
you up.
right. They putting it
Hype you
on.
up.
They
Right,
really
right.
putting it on. Good
Right,
for them.
Right.
So I get in the car. I'm laid back and I'm looking around the car like, man, this feels a little good here, Get to the hotel. Dun, 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 dun.
They got you a great king size room.
You see what I
everything,
mean?
right?
I go into the hotel. Hello, Monsieur Carroll.
Right.
We take your bags to the. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
We get up to the room. Now, 2 days go by. Nobody said anything. Now, that was weird. I called my wife, said, see? I've been sitting here for 2 days.
Ain't doing
Nothing.
Right.
See, this game I'm talking about. I'm always,
You was pissed off. You ain't say game.
yeah, I
Right.
did. I was mad.
You ain't say no game, no. I know you.
Yeah, I know I did not. You know,
Right.
I mean, it was TV. So then, second day, I get a call. Can you come down to the lobby? So I meet this sweet older lady. I don't know if she wants her name, but she's a part of Virgin Records at the time. And she's the one who discovered Daft Punk and signed them.
Okay.
So we sat down and talked. And she's like, yeah, Ron, sorry about this. We're just trying to come up with a plan. Everything is moving very quickly. So we have to make sure how we utilize you while you're here.
Right.
I said, okay. Said, come into the office with me. So she said, meet me at the office. Okay, we met. Got to the office. Everybody was there. Like a board meeting.
Right.
Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Now, I haven't met Superfunk yet.
Right.
After the video
After
shoot.
the video shoot.
I haven't seen him.
They ghost you.
So we all shaking hands and everything. And so once we got in there, the office, and that's when it hit me.
Right.
Because they were like, we're going to do this plan, that plan, TV this, radio that, interview here, interview there. And I'm like, yo, how long am I going to be here?
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's a weekend.
Right, right.
And so the lady from Virgin says, maybe 6 weeks. I said, wait a minute. Wait, hold on.
You just started a job.
Hold on, man. I just started a job. We don't have no money. My wife
Right.
at home. No.
Right.
So I'm going to try to shorten this story
Okay.
because it could be long.
Right, right.
It's
Go
a
ahead.
good one.
Go ahead.
But I'll put it this way. We went to the publisher,
Right.
the evil, diabolical publisher. I'll never forget it. Went into the office, and he's sitting there with his shirt on with the suspenders,
Right.
raggedy hair. You know how I go.
Right.
He's very, So he comes to me. He says, oh, hey, Mr. Carroll, good to see you. Da-da-da. Very English. Good. Was great.
Right.
So we have a contract. Guess what, guys? This thick.
Wow.
I looked at that contract like, Nope. Why all of that? What's all this for?
Right.
It's simple. No, it was this thing.
Okay.
So everybody's like, well, Ron, it's about everything legal.
Right.
What needs to happen if this happened and that. I'm like, nah, man, come on, that's crazy. Now, if it was like that, maybe, but I've seen things like that. But you give me the big book, So here's what happened. And this is what messed it up. But, whatever. It worked, but it didn't work.
Okay.
I said, I need to call my wife.
Right.
Because they were going to give me a $30,000 advance.
Okay.
Call my wife. I said, babe, this contract is too thick. I don't feel comfortable. It's like something's going to scheme,
Right. So at that time, why didn't you think about can I call somebody at the crib to find out what was going on? You wasn't thinking nothing like that at the time.
But honestly, at the time, Mo, who could I call? You had people that, at the time, the city, I don't want to bring this part up of the city, but, there are people that don't want to really see progression.
Well, I think if you would have reached out to the right person, Ryan, that you've been dealing with, you knew a lot of people, me, Hula,
Yeah.
Eric East Move Miller,
Yeah, true.
that could have read something for you and been like, hey, man, this is the deal that you need to take.
You know what? At the time, you're right.
Yeah.
I could have. And I just called my wife at the time.
And then what happened?
And when I told her about the advance, she started crying. She says, we need that, baby. We need it.
Right.
I'm like, but they're going to keep me out for 6 weeks.
Right.
Well, baby, you've been wanting this, but we need. And so after that on the phone, my heart is all messed up.
Right.
I get back to the table. I'm like, okay, just do me a favor. They said, what? Send all of it to her.
Okay.
What? Yeah, send it all to her.
Right.
So I just signed it. And as I'm signing it, I'm looking around, Mo.
Okay.
And they're all looking like, how the eyes.
Yeah.
They're like, good.
So you didn't look at the contract at all? You didn't even read it?
No.
Wow.
Ignorance, man.
Okay, so what happened after all that?
Pretty much, we did everything. Commercials.
Right.
Song was put on Coca-Cola commercials.
So did you ever know what would your publishing split on that? Or did you have any publishing on
Well,
that?
here's the thing. That contract written me off the record altogether.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
The advance was me giving away all my rights. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that the guys in Marseille, they knew it.
Yeah.
They knew what I was signing.
Yeah.
And only later on, one of them reached back to me because he became a Buddhist.
Right.
And he was like, Ron, I'm sorry.
Right.
But
Because that record made millions.
what?
Yeah.
I was watching them buy new houses,
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
Every time I travel there, he pulling up in a new ride.
Right.
And I'm like,
but
what?
I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. And,
For sure.
And well, you should have known, but I guess, everybody, we can't say what we would do in that time when you're in that predicament. So we can't judge you and be like, damn, Ron, it happened because it was at a point in your life where you didn't have nothing and you was like, I had to feed my family.
That's it. It was a necessary move.
Right.
And it also made me grow.
Yeah, but it also made you not only do that, but you work with Bob Sinclair.
Yes. A lot came from it.
Yeah, you did a lot of touring after that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, it's a good thing. So you do a great job, man, at staying relevant globally.
Yeah.
But you maintain a local presence as well.
Yeah.
Why is the local scene still important to you?
I would always say that the place where you grew up from should always love you as well. There's a lot of people that I've watched make it.
Right.
And then they want to shun this city.
Yeah.
They want to talk about this city and outline, suburbs. They want to talk about it, say it's nothing.
Yeah.
And to me, no. I think this home is what built you, is what made you. And I think it's important to always maintain that.
Okay.
Because when that crashes and burns,
Yeah.
you're going to come back home to nothing.
Right.
Because they're going to be like, screw you.
Yeah. So you had some controversy releases with remaking some of Chicago house classics.
Yes, I have. Yes.
What is your rebuttal to your critics regarding the proper writer's credits and possible copyright infringement?
Okay, so
knowing that you got screwed over by somebody else.
Exactly. Okay. No, that's a great question.
Okay.
And I'll say this: when I was, there's a backline story of attitude. So coming up, there's people that you're around, and you know that they're haters, and you know that they don't want to see you really go nowhere.
Okay.
You know the ones. You see them.
Okay.
So when I was doing this project, and I forget what I call it, Chicago something. You know the name? You got
I don't know the name,
okay.
but I'll put it up there.
Okay, good.
This interview.
So I did it. My first thing was I wanted to sit and have a meeting with everybody that I did the track, remake, and say, guys, this is how I remake y'all stuff. Right? And I want to put it out, right?
Right.
And a thought went through my head like, Ron, they're not going to do that. They're going to look at you and hate and not want you to put it out.
But that's the devil speaking to you right there.
Well, I'm sure. You know what I mean? But it happens. I'm telling you, the mind is amazing. And I hope we get to the part where I change the way I thought when we get to that part. But at the time, I know that those tracks sounded great. Like I refurbished them. So what I did was I went to track stores. I said, look, I don't want a dime.
Okay.
You have all of their names in your system. Yes. Okay, cool. Now, I'm not telling them, but all the publishing, I looked up all the publishing.
Right.
I put it in the credits. I said, everybody get money from it. I'm not making a dime. I just want to put it out. Now, I told Traxsource that.
But you didn't tell none of the
artists.
I didn't
tell the artists that, right? So they didn't know that was the plan.
Right.
And so I said, yeah. They said, you don't want to make nothing? I said, no, because it's theirs. I just make sure that if money's made, it go to them.
But how can they do that when they haven't signed anything with those proper artists?
I mean, the owner.
Right.
You know the owner. When you know the owner or something, you say, well, what's...
So what happened after that?
So I put it out.
Okay.
Ta-da-da, right? I'm like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, now, no one said anything.
Yeah.
Except one guy.
Who was that?
Chip E.
Okay.
Because I did like this.
Okay.
And Chip E said, how you going to put my record out?
Right.
I remember I got a call. No, it was an email or something, text. Okay. And I said, oh, no, talk to him. He said, call me. And I was on the phone with him. You can't do that. I said, okay. I said, you know what, Chip, you're right. I could have done it another way. I said, listen, I'll take it down.
Right.
I said, no problem. That's all I said. I'll take it down. I made the call,
Right.
take the project down.
Okay.
The next day, he made a whole post about how I'm a thief. After we talked about it.
Well, I mean,
I get it.
devil's advocate here. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was already out. Damage is done already.
Absolutely.
That thought that you had in your mind that you should have sat down with everybody.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if somebody did that same thing with your material, your catalog,
They've done it.
I don't think you'd be like, okay.
They've done it.
Well,
I've heard my acapellas.
Two wrongs don't make a right,
absolutely. I'm not. Listen, on this interview, I'm not saying that I should have done it.
Right.
I'm just saying that it's done a lot. It's been done to me.
Right.
I shouldn't have done it.
Right.
But I thought by me allocating funds and publishing the right way,
Yeah,
that it
but
was
if,
still.
if you're not telling
That's the key.
The key people
Right.
that situation.
That's the idiocy
Of course,
of it.
it's gonna look like you stole their stuff.
Absolutely. That's the idiocy of it.
Okay.
Altogether. And I admit that.
Okay.
That was an idiotic move.
Okay.
And so from that, you learn again.
Right.
This whole life is about.
But do you learn? Do you really learn from it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this new record, you have the mysteries.
Yeah.
Okay, which is it's got a lot of buzz on there.
Yeah.
Did you go to the proper person?
The label did.
The label did.
Yes.
But you put it out before them, though.
Well, I threw it out. Yeah, I did. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, you threw it out, but did you call Larry Heard, Fingers Inc., or anybody who
Larry, I would tell you right now, if you watch this, no, I did not call Larry. Because I'm gonna tell you, I did the record.
Okay, Ron, but see, this is where you.
I know the hypocrite.
You say you learned from the first mistake.
Yes.
And you doing it again.
I did it again.
Why?
Who knows? There's no answer for it. Because when something comes out hot, there's no answer for it. I did it to play.
Right.
And when I played it, it was like, it was going crazy. I said, this work. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's a record they know already.
Exactly.
So that's why.
So I was like, and the way I did it in a little break, and it.
So you didn't reach out to anybody to be like, listen, I'm trying to redo, not even redo it, but just you took it and you didn't say anything.
Mm.
Wow, Ron.
No.
That's ballsy, brother.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not like there's no defense to it. I mean, but Chicago people steal each other's stuff all day.
No, but it's not, we ain't talking about Chicago. I'm talking about Ron Carroll.
Ron Carroll did mysteries. Yes, I did.
So if say a big time EDM person took your vocals and made it huge and then give you no credit, how would you feel about that?
Oh no, I mean, of course you'd be upset about it.
You would want to go after them.
Well, not after. I'll be like,
you would go after them.
Hold on, G.
Okay.
Because somebody's done it. I keep telling you.
No, somebody.
My acapellas are all in the ether.
Right.
And they're always used, okay, on people's dubs, whatever. I hear them all the time.
Okay.
Just like Roland Clark. His stuff is always used.
Okay.
And what I've done, I don't attack people. I go to them and say, hey, what label is it on? And tell me, okay. I'll call the label. Hey, guys, you got
your vocals in it. Then
vocals.
They try to square up everything.
Yeah, and they'll be like, well, yeah, we didn't know that they didn't get permission. Because labels they don't be caring about that type of stuff sometimes. Right. And so I will go to them and find out what we can do.
Right.
That's all. And I'm not saying that I should have still done it because of that. I'm not saying that. But it's all this whole industry is all impulse. For me, it's impulse.
It's impulse, but it's also doing the business right, Ron. I mean, if you steady doing old Chicago shit and keep on and having that track record, it's gonna be your name gonna be
the same thing happened with Bad Boys.
Right.
I redid a Bad Boys.
Right.
Where I actually replayed it. And I actually did the vocal myself.
Right.
And I made my voice.
Now that can be a remake. If the record's
out,
it
was a big thing, bro. They went crazy. No, they went crazy.
Who went crazy?
Some lady that was in New York. And she was like, I work with Jamie, and I'm gonna tell him.
So did Steve or Steve Hurley, Jamie Principal, anybody come out?
Oh my God, I did it with Steve too. what was the song? I redid
you took Steve's stuff and then
hold on, Too Blind to See It. I redid it.
I know you. I
redid it with my singer Aries.
Yeah, you did, but it's okay to remake the record, but you just took the instrumental
of who?
Of Too Blind to See It.
No, I redid it.
Okay, you redid it.
Yeah.
So it's a remake. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't nothing where you.
And I talked to Steve. When I talked to Skip.
Okay.
About it.
What'd they say?
And Skip was like, Ron, he's like, come on, man. And I was like, I'm like, I know, man. But he was like, no, but I like it. It's good. Is that who's singing it? And I told him who's singing it.
Right.
He said, no, it's done well. He said, but you got so many people involved.
Right.
And I said, you know what? Yeah. And mysteries. I'm going to say this right now on camera. So we get it straight. All of the older stuff that I grew up on, I love it so much. And I think that in my mind, I just want to hear a fresher
Well, I
version
get that,
of
but
it.
you can hear first. I don't hear you never taking any New York stuff or any Europe stuff and doing the same thing what you do with Chicago stuff.
When it wasn't good.
What do you mean? There's some New York records.
No,
or
no,
Europe-
there's some Jersey stuff.
So-
But not New York. New York was very. Come on, Mom.
They have some records. That
Jersey was raw like us.
right. You can do Jersey. You haven't do Jersey. You didn't do New York. You didn't even do anything over in Europe. But you always take Chicago shit.
Where am I from?
You from?
What did I
Chicago.
grow up on?
Yeah, but that and you grew up in the point of people been taking our shit
Yeah.
and doing this wrong, and you're doing the same thing as say for a Trax record to do. You're doing the same thing.
Yes.
So, but why?
This the part of the interview you can't answer.
But no, you have to answer because it's.
Oh, you know
wrong
what? This is gonna be on this interview,
Oh yeah, it's because you're.
and this gonna be on live with people getting.
You,
I'm
they
getting.
looking at it right now, brother.
You know what? This and you know what? I believe.
But I'm just saying.
I believe
you have
Maurice brought me here to do this.
No, you have to stop the I mean, no. I'm just saying it stops with us. If you want to do right, you got. If you want to be right, you got to do right.
So I'll say this, guys, on camera. I've experienced, which I get, what I did, of course, but I experienced a lot of hate here, and people don't ever really want to work with me here.
Well,
Hold on, let me say my part though.
Okay, all right.
And don't edit it. See,
This is not going to be edited.
It's a lot of people. I've experienced a lot of pushback and backlash from my Chicago counterparts, my whole career almost. So it's kind of like when you, and it's no, first of all, you're supposed to do proper. If you can't do it, you can't do it. I get it. If it's a no, it's a no. So I'm not excusing it. But what I'm saying, what made the impulse happen and me do it is for the love of the music, first. Secondly, don't go about it that way because none of it was intended, intended to come out commercially. It was just for me to play. The responses is what fueled it. Like, man, they love it. I didn't think they were going to love it.
Right, but if that response is you keep it for yourself, so it'd be just exclusive to you.
Right.
And everywhere you go, you get that reaction.
Right.
Not to sell somebody else's stuff and then everybody get to have it. Or you could have called them and be like, let's do this together, put it back out again, and then have both of the names be Fingers It featuring Ron Carroll or whatever. Chip E and Ron Carroll.
You know what? That's what we will do going forward. No, thank you. No, thank you. I think that now the respect is there enough where people will work with me. But
see, I think your past has something to do with why you're doing this. You said a lot of people hated on you.
Bro.
I think a lot of people help you, but they hate on you because of what you do.
Okay.
And you do that's not right.
Okay.
I think that's the issue. And
Okay.
you gotta be transparent about it.
Okay.
Because it is what it is.
Yeah.
But because your talent outweighs everything, Ron, if you go ahead and do it the right way.
Correct.
You're talented, brother. I think you're very talented in DJing and producing.
Thank you.
Because I see that you've been on the EDM side.
Yep.
And you've been on the regular soulful house music side.
Yeah.
So I think you could transition and do both. But do you believe that these worlds can truly blend as a healthy underground soulful house relationship? Like this is my next question. EDM and soulful. You think they can come together?
No, they weren't meant to come together.
Okay.
EDM was a created genre by the elites in the industry.
Okay.
They saw how big it was getting,
Right.
and they wanted their own controlled
Lane.
Yeah. And so, house is what it is. House encompasses all things.
Right.
Let's just get that straight. Techno comes from house. So house is a tree that encompasses all things, right?
Right.
I would say with EDM, they saw how many people were loving it and, clenching onto it. So there was an agenda. See, that's going to get into the spiritual aspect because elitists have agendas,
Right.
no matter what it might be. whether they want you to buy more soap or more of this. You know, they have agendas. And I believe they took house music and segued it their way.
Well, I think they always take our stuff and rename it, rebrand it, and it's the same old thing, but they put their info on it.
So what is EDM?
They take us out. It's house music.
But yeah, it's electronic dance music.
Right.
That's house.
Music. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just took it and they want to build their own, because it's nothing but progressive music.
Yeah.
It's progressive, it's hardcore, slowed down.
Right.
That's all it is. But they put a title on, they got their stars, and they push their
since you've been traveling and you've been globally a lot and you know what's going on overseas, Ron, what could Soulful House do differently to ensure its survival?
Well, first accepting that it will always be an underground movement.
Okay. So you think a soulful record can never go pop and be a huge successful as any of these EDM songs?
Well, I think that vocal soulful house should be in the States the new adult contemporary.
Okay.
The new R&B. Just like Teddy Pendergrass, get up, get down, get funky, get loose. Right. I believe that if that direction is taken, because the stuff you've done, Mo, all that vocal stuff you've done, that should be on adult contemporary radio.
Right. It should be a different category.
Yes, absolutely. And it should be 3 minutes and played on the radio.
Right. So in your regards to Soulful House, do you still love it?
I play it now. I came back to it.
Okay.
I got out of EDM. I was tired of it.
Right.
I was tired of it. I was over it. Those people, very lofty in there, and a lot of them are lofty in their headspace.
Right.
They're not realistic in their headspace a lot. Everybody wants to be a star. Nobody wants to really put no grit in it.
Right.
And so I just was like, okay, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done.
Okay.
And yeah. So we're back to our basics again.
So
hence
yes.
Mysteries.
Right.
Hence, but I've done stuff other than that besides mysteries.
Yeah, you've done some great work, but I think like the negative outweighs the good stuff that
it always does. A negative charge is always worse.
Right, because you can stop that though.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna stop it.
I'm just trying to keep it positive. You can stop it.
Of course I can.
Because if you don't want it, but I think you like it because it feeds you into that and it gets you going and everything. I think you kind of sadistic where you like that.
Sadistic?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Because you like that pain because people keep telling you like you're doing something wrong and you say, yeah, I know it, but you still do it and it still give you some type of thrill to it.
You know, this interview is going to go the wrong way in the world. I already know it. It really is.
So let's go ahead on. This
okay.
So Chicago, guy that used to live in Chicago, Leonard Remakes Roy, the DJ from Chicago's early beginning, has quite been vocal in a negative way about your contribution to house, and you know how you said you've been in this game for 30 years, and this and all this other stuff. And he says it's a lack of retirement benefit to DJs. Do you want to respond to this comments, or do you believe there should be a DJ union for this sort of thing? And what's your personal exit strategy?
Well, I would say this: everyone has their own lane and vibration in the music and what they do.
Right.
Leonard Roy had his way and very highly respected in the lane that he was in at the time. I met Leonard Roy when I played at the Rink Fitness Factory.
Okay.
It was every Saturday, and it was on a small skating rink. That's also where I met Lil Jon and other people. And I met Roy then, but Roy was out in the military at the time. When I was a fill-in with other people, and I remember he
was gone while you was coming up.
Yeah,
ranks, right.
And so I remember when he came back, and everybody's like, "Oh, Leonard's back." So I'm like, "Who?" Like they're like Leonard Roy. I'm like, "For real? He's coming back here?" Yeah. So everybody was excited. I met him, and he tore the house down, scratching and doing all that. And I didn't come. And another thing, guys, there are different cultures.
Right.
There's the hot mix culture, the scratching, like the hip hop.
Right.
All that's encompassing the house. And so he was one of those guys. So I was impressed. Like, Roy is great, you know. But what happened was certain people get out, right?
Right.
Okay, you want to exit, it's fine.
Right.
But what they do is they get out and they decide the life that they want to live, which he did, which is good, retirement. And some people want to retire, some people don't.
Right.
And he decided to retire. So I'm happy that he found a way to retire, to be with his family,
Right.
and to live a good life.
Right.
The attacks, and this is what I mean, he attacks me because I celebrated 30-something years
Right.
in the game. You got to remember, Chicago was built in sections. There was very segregated, okay? Very. You had your straight scene, your gay scene, your white straight scene, your white gay scene, black gay scene, black straight scene,
Right.
Latin scene. Everything was
Right.
like this. So my years were in the black gay scene. When everybody was over here doing straight parties, I was at the clubhouse. I was at the Generator, places like that. I was playing. I was here.
Right.
I had a packed room.
Right.
But it's not. But there were people that were playing back in the day that's here now
Right.
that you never seen.
Right.
So I never doubt someone's history in this culture. I can't,
Okay.
because we're all older.
Right.
You had to be there somewhere.
Right.
You know, like the chosen few.
Right.
You know, a lot of people would argue and say, well, they weren't back in the day, but they were.
Yeah.
But it was on another scene.
Correct.
It wasn't on this scene.
Right.
So you can't negate that they weren't there.
Two things can be true at the same time.
Absolutely.
Right.
So they did have their scene,
Yeah.
but maybe it wasn't the populace
Right.
to the heads
Yeah.
that went to the warehouse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well they do the gym rooms. Okay,
Right.
that's a scene though.
Yeah.
It's all a part of the house
Right.
and disco.
Right. 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 Right.
So, so he just, he's going crazy and everything. But to me, I feel that when people do that, they miss it.
Yeah.
They want to be in it,
Yeah.
but they don't know how to get back in it.
Right. Okay.
And I told him,
Yeah.
I said, Leonard, I'll fly you in. You want to do a party?
Right.
I said, I'll fly you in. We'll play together.
Okay.
I offered it.
And no response?
He went and did another YouTube video. And I was being honest. Like, I was going to really do a party
Right.
and honor him. Come on in.
Yeah.
If you miss playing,
Right.
I'll come on.
And the reason why I say this, Ron, because you do have history in this game. I think you're a great DJ myself.
Thank you. You've helped me a
I
lot.
would never put you on anything
No.
that I don't deserve. And I think you can hold a crowd your own, where to the point of I don't need to guide you anywhere. Ron, do your thing, play what you got to play, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can move a crowd with the best of them, So on that being said, this past Grammy that happened today,
Yeah.
and you work with me with Destiny Child from Everybody.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Beyonce said that she thanked the queer community for creating a genre called house/dance music.
Yes.
What is your opinion about that?
Well, you got to also take this in account. I said the elite that run the industry have agendas. And when you're an artist signed to the elite establishment of the system, you have to go with what that agenda is. And that's why when you look at television, all of that, it's all agenda based. So Beyonce said what she was told to say.
Okay, so
Because
now
it's a
give
queer
me
situation.
the truth to it now. So break it down.
I mean, you look at this.
I'm not talking about culture. I'm talking about
the origins,
the actual creation of house music.
the creators
Correct.
who have the machines.
The young kids from
Right. So,
Southside,
so are we
West
saying
Side
were
of
they gay
Chicago.
or were they straight?
I'm just saying that was that a true statement that she made?
The creation,
Knowing
no.
your history of
No,
house music.
not at all.
Thank you.
No,
Okay.
no. That they weren't creators, but they were the ones who, after the creation was done, adopted it and lived it and made it a culture in which people followed.
Right.
I would say that they did adopt, and they loved it, and they got their life off of it.
Nice.
And that's what made other people be like, man, what is that? So
Right.
it was their vibration off the sound
Right.
that made it noticeable to a lot of people. Yeah. But the actual sitting down at the board, well, I mean, I use these terms, but yes, it was more so heterosexual individuals. Yeah.
So Ron, tell the viewers about any upcoming releases you got coming up, man.
I hate to say it because it may.
Have you stolen any more?
No, I have not. I have not.
So tell the Everything in House Music and more crew, man, and all the subscribers about Ron Carroll's next project.
So basically, right now there's a label that's from New York called Easy Street Records, who I've teamed up with, and this is where we're doing a lot of vocal house stuff with. Mm-hmm. Just recently released a track with myself and Swalo called Something Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Also, we just signed up Sean Christopher, a legendary name.
Oh, nice.
Did a song with her that's charting right now. The next one's coming out is by my self-produced Miranda Nicole.
Okay.
It's called Love of My Life. My old artist I used to work with, Aries Adora. We did a song in 2018 called Magic Carpet Ride.
Great record.
Which actually is coming back out on Easy Street. Okay. And I think Eric Cupper may remix that.
Oh, nice. Okay. And
so I've been doing that on the vocal side. On the tracky side, I have my Ron Tracks label. Ron Tracks. With the red circle. Okay. With the Ron Tracks on the slant. Oh. Another take. See?
Right. Like Tracks Records.
Tracks Records.
You can take that, man. That's no problem.
Oh, he doesn't care about that one.
No, I'm just playing.
And for the record, all the tracks that he said I stole is all owned by Sandlar. Now that could be another interview. Oh, Sandlar Publishing owned every track.
We in a lawsuit with
them
right
now. And
Ray
Barney, Ray Barney from Dance Mania owns a lot of stuff too. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, it's not great. It's not a great thing. I'm just saying that. Business. If we want to talk business, I could go to Rachel Kane.
You should.
And say, "Can I have permission?" Right. And she probably say, "Sure."
But you didn't do that though.
No, I didn't do that.
So any collaboration you still would like to see happen with Ron Carroll?
I would like to do another record with Maurice.
Who?
I think we should do another one. I would like to do another. It's not about new producers to me. It's about connecting with my brothers. I would like to do another one with Mo. I like to do another one with Hula. Okay. Because I like Hula's raw style. Something about Hula.
It's different.
It's different, but it worked, don't it?
Yeah.
I would like to do a song with E Smooth. In other words, if my wish to do an album project with all my older brothers.
Oh, that's good.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm game for it, man. Just like we doing new stuff.
Yeah.
Not taking anything else. You know.
This is, you know what? And I'm going to tell you something about this whole interview. That section is about to blow.
Oh yeah,
the internet completely up.
Man, so don't worry about that. That's gonna be a teaser. But I want to thank everybody tuning in for Everything House Music.
Thank you.
Remember to click the button, hit the subscribe button, and listen for the notifications. And Ron, you had a sponsor for this episode, and the sponsor is
Aqua Panay. If you want good spring water out of a glass bottle, the best way and the best taste is Aqua Panay.
Again, Ron Carroll, I want to say thank you, brother. I love you, man.
Love you too, man. This is real.
Your production. I love your DJing, man.
Thank you.
I think you do have input in this house music.
Wow. Thank you.
But just do it the right time and right way from now on.
With the old kid. I'm gonna sit at the table with the older cast and we're gonna sort it out, okay?
So hold on.
Yeah.
Before we end this, you said you own the club. I want to talk about the club you own.
Okay, so the club that I owned. No, that was back in the day, bro.
No. You said you got a. Oh, I'm sorry. You said you got a restaurant. I should say.
Oh. Yeah. So basically,
this is your restaurant.
No, well, it's not. I'm a part. A little part of it.
Okay.
But when you get a little slither, you feel good about it, right?
So you exaggerated that the owner part of the restaurant.
Well, I mean, if you got a percentage,
what's your percentage? 0.0003?
No, it's not.
Okay.
You see, hey, anybody look. If you got 5, 10, 15% of something, you're an owner, ain't you?
I believe so. I don't know. I don't say anything, but okay, yes. But name the restaurant so you can plug that too, please.
Okay, so the restaurant you got to go to, the real boss owner is Dino. You know Dino. It's called Storyville.
Okay.
712 North Clark.
Okay.
Great New Orleans food, great ambiance. It's a good time.
There you go. So once again, Ron, thank you, brother. Love you, man, and looking for good things coming up for you in future, brother.
Thank you. This was a setup interview.
It's not no setup.
It
brother.
was.
Again, thank you for tuning in, y'all, and we talk to y'all soon.
Peace, y'all.